My name is Aghibge. I am the Director of Partnerships and Programs at eHealth Africa. And for years, I have focused on improving healthcare access by securing funding and building partnerships across the continent. Joining me here are two amazing women who will be having this brief fireside chat with me. First, I'd like to introduce Damilola Kolawole. She's a lawyer and an expert in investing in African businesses. Damilola has worked in many different areas of the startup world, including providing legal advice, investing, and managing funds. She's dedicated to helping startups grow, and please join me in giving a round of applause to Damilola Kolawole.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Next, I'd like to welcome Kudzayi Hove. Kudzayi is the founder and CEO of Amayi Foods, a company that makes healthy and affordable food products distributed across Nigeria. She has a lot of experience in business, especially in building companies and investing in them. Please join me in welcoming Kudzayi Hove with a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So very quickly, I will just start with an icebreaker question to the both of you. Now, over my career, I have interacted with a number of women. I have also read articles, and I have heard some women say that they have had to take on what they believe is a more masculine disposition or approach to work because they have felt like they haven't been taken seriously. Sometimes they see men who are their peers being respected a bit more, even some of their subordinates being treated differently. And so they've had to carry themselves in a certain way, sometimes deepen their voices, sometimes lose their sense of fashion or style just because they believe that this is how they must behave. So I'm just going to ask each of you, so we start the conversation with that. Do you believe or have you experienced this? And what advice would you give to women who are navigating this perception? Damilola, please start.
Good afternoon, everyone. So quickly, I'd say that I think because I'm a bit younger, I would say a lot of older women have done a lot of work, making sure that younger women do not have to experience the same, biases or difficulties that they did while growing their career. But personally, I've had to be more assertive in some instances because I saw maybe peers or subordinates not taking me seriously, but taking my other colleague that was a male more seriously. But in terms of fashion and dressing, I've seen feminine women do amazing things, so I've not had to make adjustments in that sense. But in terms of behavior, communication, assertiveness, yes, I've had to learn that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I do think that you do have to take on some behaviors. Women, we tend to want to let our work speak for ourselves, etc. So we do need to adjust and actually get out there and represent ourselves better. But I do think that it also can be to your advantage sometimes to be a woman. People underestimate you. They underestimate your views. They underestimate what you can do. And we do bring a very different perspective to things. I've seen it in my own business. I've seen it in other businesses. So it's a trade-off. I have said many times that I couldn't do something because my husband wouldn't let me, because that's apparently the only reason why men agree in some cases. But, other times, obviously it's not true. So, I do what I need to do.
Thank you. And I think I'll just take on something you said in terms of it could be an advantage tapping into your feminine side. So as an entrepreneur who has interacted with, who has been in the venture capital ecosystem for a bit, would you say there are unique perspectives that a woman can bring to the table as far as venture capital investing or pitching is concerned that can lead to the success or innovation of their business? And if there are, would you like to share some of those unique perspectives?
Yeah, I mean, I think that by virtue of the fact that we are often marginalized and not in the center of things, we are more innovative in finding solutions. We tend to be more adaptable. Sorry to the men out there, but this is my experience. We tend to be more adaptable. And again, it's something I have seen in my own business. We were shut out of the big boy supply chain club. We produce tomato paste. I'm outing myself as a non-tech entrepreneur here. But we produce tomato paste, which is distributed in the mass market across 26 states in Nigeria. And this is it's an area that's dominated by men, obviously. A lot of foreign companies, as you guys know, the main suspects in this. So we were shut out of a supply chain. We were too small to really be able to break in. So we found our own way. And it resulted in us finding locally sourced inputs that have made our products more affordable, but have the quality is fantastic. It meets customer specifications, and we have a huge spike in demand just because of that. So I think what we've learned from that experience is sometimes you have to lean into your supposed disadvantages and figure out how to make them advantages.
Thank you, Kudzayi. And I would just, that question has directed me to Damilola. So, I mean, currently, thankfully, like you said earlier, there's a lot of work that has been done over the years. And currently, there are more programs and funds aimed at women-led and women-owned businesses. In your opinion, and from your space, how would you say we can maintain this trend to ensure that we're seeing the long-term impact in a tangible form over the years?
That's a very great and interesting question, and that would make me talk about where I work for like a few seconds. Yeah. And because it ties into our vision and what we're trying to achieve. So I work with Rise Inside Africa, and it's a network of female angel investors investing in female-led, female-owned businesses, like you mentioned, across Africa. And currently we have about 36 companies in our portfolio. And as individuals, like just female individuals in different sectors, professionals, we invested almost $2 million in these businesses and about to launch a $10 million fund. So we have women that are experts and that are like senior level in different sectors. And one of the ways they're trying to give back to the society is also to invest in female-led, female-owned businesses. So what we also did, beyond just deploying capital, we also have like a mentoring framework for each of these businesses. And the way it started was people that were members of like LAN, they were women who were members of LAN, and saw that the female entrepreneurs coming to pitch weren't performing as well as the male entrepreneurs. So they saw there was a gap, something was wrong. And then they called aside some female entrepreneurs, decided to teach them how to pitch better, giving them small ticket sizes to help them grow their businesses. And then it became a network of over 100 women that are doing this. So for it to be long-term, we need more female participation. We need more women writing the checks. Because you need people that can relate to what you do that are at the place of making decisions. Because, when you enter a room and you see people that look like you can relate more to them and they can relate to you. So if we need more capital in the hands of women entrepreneurs, we also need more capital in the hands of, for example, female fund managers, right? We need more women that are doing well in their businesses and their careers to give more women entrepreneurs money. So for it to be a long-term thing, there has to be like a cycle, right? So it has to come from women to women. Of course, we need to bring the men in, but we need more female decision makers. We need more women at the top for it to flow from the top downwards and then back like that. And also at the point of exiting businesses, people make returns, right? And you also want those returns to go back to the hands of senior women that can then deploy this capital to more women again. But if you have men making all the investments, because we're also trying to make women see venture capital investing as a good asset class. So if you have more men making the investments and the money keeps going back to them, even if men are investing in some female entrepreneurs, the money goes back to the men. But if you have more women deploying capital, it goes back to women who would invest in more women, people that look like them. Mm-hmm. So we need that to happen.
Yeah, in fact, the truth is when it comes to venture investing, especially at the early stage, just like you said, It's really about who looks like me, who can I relate with? And that is the reason why it's good for us to have more of that gender-inclusive investment. When we have more women investing, then we can have more of them support this female startup owners. So ideally, I have a number of, a lot more questions, but for the sake of time, I would now open the floor to questions. If there's anybody that has any question to ask, we have a venture capital investor and an entrepreneur who is also operating in that space. This would be a good opportunity to take those questions. So do we have any questions for Damilola and Kudzayi? Any questions? Okay, no problem. So for a while now, there has been a buzz which the EHA Impact Venture Group, Impact Ventures has been putting on, which is something is coming. And today, very, very quickly, we are going to see what is that thing that has been coming. Samaya, are you ready? Or who is ready? So I just want to quickly speak a bit about EHA Impact Ventures. EIV is a philanthropic impact investing enterprise that has been around now for over 4 years, and they invest in women-led and women-owned startups in the continent. And ladies and gentlemen, today we are excited to announce that EHA Impact Ventures is investing $75,000 in Amayi Foods in the form of a simple agreement for future equity. This really aligns very perfectly with EIV's mission of supporting early stage, high impact, women-led businesses in Africa. And unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to talk about Amayi Foods, but Amayi Foods is a remarkable company that is really addressing the critical food security challenges and improving nutrition, particularly for women and children across Nigeria. So very quickly, I'd like to invite Kudzayi Hove to share a bit more about this investment and how it will support her company's growth and impact before we formally present the check. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much to EIV for this investment. For Amayi, it's really a game changer in many ways for us. We've been very capital efficient in the past, but that has limited our growth. So with this investment, we would be able to now actually really kickstart that growth by funding working capital, which is one of our critical line items, expenditures, which would now enable us to purchase materials ahead of time and be able to ensure production continues seamlessly. So that's been very important. And then also I think it's a very important signifier for us, having an institutional investor coming in with a base in both Nigeria and North America, I think is very, very important. And so for us, it's really a way to signal to other investors and to open up discussions with other investors. Similar profiles, similar concerns about impact. And we've started that process already. So yeah, thank you.
Congratulations, Kudzayi. Congrats.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies, we had to rush through the session just so that she doesn't miss her flight. Thank you for your patience.